I used to light candles for the dark. I wore secrecy like a second skin and trusted shadows more than people. In those rooms, we whispered about power, about bending the unseen to our will. I thought the spirit realm was a chessboard, and I was learning to move pieces no one else could see. But the night that cracked me open wasn't a storm or a miracle. It was silence, not the empty kind, the kind that stares back, the kind that holds you to account. I remember asking, begging, demanding, why do some prayers thunder and others fall flat? And the answer that rose wasn't what I expected. It wasn't about angels or demons outmaneuvering you. It was about the one person I'd been avoiding the entire time, the one who speaks the prayer and then lives the opposite. If your words and your life are at war, the spirit realm hears the war, not the words. This message matters because too many of us are convinced that heaven is deaf, that God is distant, that the universe is indifferent. We light our hope like a match in the wind, and when it dies, we blame the sky. I'm speaking to you if you've ever prayed until your throat hurt and your world didn't change. If you've ever wondered whether your whispers evaporate long before they reach anything holy. I was the last person who should talk about prayer, an ex-Satanist, a student of control, a collector of masks. Yet somewhere between my deepest rebellion and my first honest surrender, I discovered a truth that reoriented everything. Call it God, call it the Spirit, call it the quiet inside you that knows what's true. The principle doesn't flinch. The hidden reason your prayers feel ignored isn't because heaven is hard of hearing, it's because your life is answering back louder than your words. In the world I once inhabited, we didn't talk about grace. We traded in leverage. We played with smoke and mirrors. We performed rituals we swore gave us an edge. And I believed, for a time, that I could derail anyone's prayer by sheer force of intent. I remember targeting a man who wore no mask, an old neighbor with kind eyes and hands like rope. He prayed every night for his estranged son. I thought I could coil around that hope, starve it, smother it into silence. Night after night, he still walked outside, looked up, and said the same small, honest words. Nothing dramatic happened, no thunder, no lightning, just a stubborn faith that refused to break. And I, who thought I held power, felt something crack in me instead. Here's what gnawed at me. Why did my own prayers for control, for dominance, echo back empty, while this man's modest whisper felt like it carried weight? I mocked him under my breath, yet his calm unnerved me. He didn't pray to manipulate, he prayed to heal. He asked and then lived in the direction of what he asked. He apologized when he got short-tempered. He saved a sandwich for the boy across the hall who forgot his lunch. He wrote letters he knew might never be answered. His life agreed with his prayer, line by line. Mine contradicted mine, sentence by sentence. I started to see the pattern everywhere. People prayed for peace, but nurtured grudges like pets. They prayed for clarity, but filled every quiet space with noise. They prayed for open doors, but wouldn't touch a doorknob if it required humility. And there I was, throwing fuel on the fire, whispering to them, to myself, keep asking for what you won't become. Because when words and actions split, the signal splinters. The spirit realm doesn't traffic in speeches. It moves on alignment. It reads the voltage under your words. Let me say it as plainly as I can, in a way that crossed my chest like lightning the night I finally listened. Prayer is not a spell. It's an agreement. It's not a transaction. It's a transformation. The unseen doesn't respond to the vocabulary of your lips. It responds to the integrity of your life. When you ask for forgiveness while nursing bitterness, you're sending two signals, mercy and malice. Which one do you think carries more current? When you plead for purpose but refuse the smallest discipline, your mouth says yes, your habits say no, and the static drowns the station. I watched people exhaust themselves, thinking the volume of their plea would move mountains, when it was the direction of their feet that mattered. Imagine the spirit realm not as a courtroom where you argue your case, but as a symphony that responds to resonance. Truth hums, integrity hums, courage hums. When your choices harmonize with your asking, the echo grows. Doors you never saw begin to crack, and the next step arrives like a handrail in the dark. I didn't have the power to intercept anyone's prayer. That was an arrogant myth that kept me feeling important. What I could do, what the circles I ran with were good at, was feed the static. Distraction, resentment, cynicism. We could keep people so busy, so angry, so addicted to appearances that even when the answer came, they couldn't hear it. We couldn't close heaven, we could just close hearts, and a closed heart will interpret silence as rejection when it's often invitation. My own turning point wasn't cinematic. It was a stairwell that smelled like dust and rain, a phone that wouldn't stop buzzing, a conscience that finally outran my pride. I had lost someone I loved because of my manipulation. I wanted a miracle, but only if it came without a confession. That night, I paced, prayed, bargained. I told the dark what I wanted. Nothing. I grew louder, as if volume could bribe eternity. Still, nothing. In the hunger of that silence, a question rose that I could not dodge. If I give you what you ask, will you become someone who can hold it? The words sank like a stone. I saw myself clearly. I wanted reconciliation without humility, influence without service, comfort without truth. I had been asking for the right things with the wrong heart. I dropped to the step, and for the first time, I didn't try to bend the unseen. I let it bend me. If you show me the next honest step, I whispered, I'll take it, even if it's small, even if it costs. The answer didn't arrive as a trumpet. It arrived as a name. I knew who I had to call. Apologize, ask nothing in return. I dialed. My throat burned. I owned my lies, my power games, my need for control. No excuses, no defensive poetry, just truth. The line was quiet a long time. Then a breath. Then, thank you. Not a reunion, not a reset, just a crack of light. The next day, I returned what I had taken. The day after, I stepped away from the rooms that had held me. I told a mentor I had wronged him. I forgave the one who betrayed me. Each act was a prayer with legs, and something happened to the silence. It started to feel alive. I wasn't being ignored, I was being invited to live the answer I was asking for. If you feel ignored by heaven, consider this. Perhaps your prayer isn't being denied, it's being weighed against your willingness to become it. Ask for peace, then make peace where you can. Call the sibling, mend the bridge, stop feeding the feud. Ask for provision, then become faithful with what you already hold. Budget, share, be generous in small ways. Ask for guidance, then get quiet long enough to hear it. Put the phone down, take a walk, let the stillness speak. The spirit realm is not moved by eloquence, it's moved by alignment. Your life either amplifies your prayer or drowns it. And the miracle nobody told me about is this. When you begin to live in agreement with what you ask, you discover answers were nearer than you thought. Not always fast, not always flashy, but faithful. To the one who prays every night and wonders if the ceiling is made of stone, keep asking, but change the question you ask yourself. Where do my choices disagree with my hope? Where can I align today, not someday? Forgive before you feel like it. Apologize before you're sure it will be received. Take the smallest step toward the person you claim you're becoming. You don't need perfect faith, you need honest alignment. Heaven is not a vending machine, and the spirit realm is not a marketplace. It is a living conversation with truth itself, and truth recognizes its own. I once fancied myself a master of hidden corridors, a navigator of shadows, but the only door that really changed anything was the one I opened from the inside, the one that let light in long enough to show me that the answer I was begging for had been waiting for my yes. Not the yes of my mouth, the yes of my life. Here's the punchline the dark never told me, the one I'm handing you like a key. Your prayer isn't ignored, it's mirrored. Speak what is true, live what you speak, and watch the silence turn into a roar. Stop trying to bend heaven to your will. Let heaven bend you, and doors will open that you didn't even know were doors.